Hello and welcome to Lorbeck Luxury Cars. I'm Harry and on this edition of the Friday Drive over this, the 2020 Mercedes-Benz GLC63 AMG S. Now if you're the kind of person who's against SUVs and cars that are seen as a bit unnecessary and excessive, you're not going to like this, because this car I reckon is about as silly as it gets. Of course you can see that it's a it's a mid-size SUV, but under the bonnet is a twin-turbo, 4-litre, 373 kilowatt V8. Now all that power will mean this car will get from 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. That's just incredible. And if you were to think 10 years ago where we were in terms of performance SUVs, we were nowhere near this level of performance. This is supercar territory, but the supercarness doesn't really end there. This thing is brewing with technology. Step inside and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when you step in, I mean, it's immediately apparent that this is a GLC, but then you look a little bit harder and you notice there's a few little details which are different, like the carbon fibre and the AMG thing, and AMG on the screen thing here. And there's a picture of the front nose of the car, which is very handy if you forgot what your $160,000 car looked like when you're approaching it. But the thing that stands out most with the 63 above any other GLC is when you go to push the engine start button, you hear that unmistakable V8 growl. And then you give the accelerator just a little squeeze and and there's no doubt that that noise will put you in the mood for some spirited driving. The amount of buttons you can push in this car is utterly extraordinary. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Now, in the AMG, you can go through and you can, select sort of dynamic things. So I push this button which says dynamic, and I can choose what sort of driving mode I like. I think, being the individual that I am, I'm going to go individual. But wait, there's more. Once I select individual, I can then go and adjust various aspects of the drive. So I click drive and it gives me an option of reduced drive, moderate, sport or dynamic. I'm really not sure what the difference is, but naturally we'll go dynamic. But I have to be honest, the confusion doesn't really end there. We've got this thing called dynamics, which shows me suspension and brakes and things, and then suspension. And in dynamics I've got basic, advanced, pro and master. The presumption being that you only get a little bit of brakes or something if you were to go basic, so master it will stay. But apart from that, the rest of it's fairly simple to use, and it's got so many different things you can look at. I mean, the map is utterly excellent, and I've got all these things which I can track, your pace around a track if you were to be that way inclined, and all the various bits and pieces to adjust the lighting and all that. It's all very interesting, and you could probably spend hours and hours and hours talking about it. Not that I think you really want to. But the point is that this car is brimming with technology, not just in performance, but comfort as well. Look, every part of me thinks I shouldn't like this car, and I think there's a lot of people out there who won't. But I have to be honest, the fact that we've got an SUV, which is really not that much shorter than me, with that huge V8, 21-inch black alloys, and all the rest of it in the sports exhaust, it's just ludicrous. But it's cars like this which really get me excited. If we were sensible all the time, then let's be honest, we'd all be driving Kias. But the fact that we've got a passion means that cars like this are actually very important, and something that I don't think you should be too snooty about. And I'm so disappointed that we can't actually get this on the road and do a proper Friday drive with it. With everything going to plan, November 2nd, we should be able to get back on the road and start doing some proper Friday drives. But as is always the way with the cars that I like, they sell like that. So if you're in the market for a car like this, a 2020 AMG GLC63S, what I would ask is that you come and you buy it, but you just leave it for a couple more weeks so I can get it and give it a proper burnout on the road. But like always, I have a feeling that won't happen. I think it'll be sold, and whoever buys it will be very, very happy. So as always, we'll see you next week.